Welcome to the Boston Art Podcast. I am Brian Huntress.
I'm Theodora Earthworms.
And this is the episode.
Woo! Do you guys not know Trevor Sullivan?
They know Trevor.
Everybody knows Trevor. Trevor's canon.
Trevor is canon in the show. Okay, let's rip.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
We are ripping, bro.
We have a new audio setup, so it's a little harder to record. Hello.
Hi, Trevor.
Yeah.
Hey, we're recording now. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course it is.
Sick. Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up is my phone is literally doing dumb shit, but that's okay.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah. So right after tour, my laptop literally borked the day after.
Oh,
Works.
shit.
So I have none of my mic or anything, so I'm just running off of my phone, which I'm sure sounds like dick in a bag. But
Well,
that's
it's
okay.
perfect timing, too, with, like, all of this content that you have to make and all these things that you have to take care of.
Exactly. And
Yeah, what a
no
huge pain in the ass.
pre-production I have to do.
Jeez. Well, yeah, so... Yeah, it's good to be able to catch up with you on the show, but also,
Yeah.
just to say at the top of the show, you get the single coming out literally 5 hours ago, according to this episode.
Woo!
So listeners of the show can actually go listen to the single right now.
Yeah, you're actually only based if you listen to the single right now.
Yeah.
This is true.
Literally pause, go listen to it, then come back.
Oh, also, do you think that it would be possible for us to just put the single in the episode?
I don't care. The distributor might. I don't know what the.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll fuck around with it.
Yeah, as long as you guys don't get clapped, I don't care. But I would hate for you guys to get absolutely fucked on.
Yeah. Well, shit. What's been up? How'd tour go? When did you guys leave?
When did we leave? We left July 22nd. Cause that was the Lowell show, right?
Yeah.
You guys
something.
ended at that shit.
Damn, that's exciting. That's been like a month.
Yeah, it's been like a month. We were out for like a little over a week, and then I got back, and I've been in fight camp ever since, because my fight's at the end of the month.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
I literally just get rocked 25-8, which is why I wasn't at the Boxer's Jaw show the other night, because I was at fight camp getting hit.
That's fucking crazy. So who the fuck are you fighting? Are you just fighting a random person?
Well, yeah, so that's the fun thing about what I'm doing is called a smoker, which basically means it doesn't go on your record. It's a little bit lower key. Marginally more safety precautions are put in line, but I mean, it's as safe as something like that can be. But you don't know, specifically for like a Muay Thai one, you don't really know who you're gonna fight until like 2 weeks before, sometimes even less.
Ooh.
But I had to put in what weight I wanted to fight at and like how old I am, how much experience I have, my height and all that junk, like 2 months ago to try to find someone.
That's exciting.
Holy shit.
Do you know yet who it's gonna be?
No, they're still looking, and from what I have been told, I don't know how much the case this is. I think this might be my coaches being nice to me, but so Invictus is predominantly a jiu-jitsu gym, so it's like, mind you, I'm barely in the zeitgeist of all of this. Like, I'm very new to this. I've only been training a year, so I could be completely wrong on all of this, but Invictus, which is where I train out of, is predominantly a jiu-jitsu gym. And the gym that we're doing the smoker at and that is running it is like a Muay Thai gym. So there is a little bit of a like ego thing, I guess, with like, oh, the jiu-jitsu guys want to come and do the fucking Muay Thai fight, whatever. But then, like, when they put in all my stuff, and obviously I am, like, terminally online, as all of us are, putting my training stuff out there, I am looking a lot better than I should be for only a year for a gym that is not predominantly a striking program. might be a little bit of an embarrassment thing on the line here.
Oh, wait, you mean they might, like, pair you with somebody that is not of equivalent, at the same caliber as you?
Because they are...
Because you promoted yourself so successfully as, like, a heavy-hitting murderer fighter.
Less that, but more, they are less likely to be like, yeah, let's put up a kid that's been doing it for a little over a year, and, like, they're going to try to push someone that's been doing it for, like, 4, in which case I'd get killed. But there's, like, a reputation type deal to defend there, and they don't want a 1 year from not a jiu-jitsu gym to come in and, like, steamroll a 1 year from their striking gym. Like, that would look kind of bad for them. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I am being told all of this third hand, so I don't know, like, what's going on there. I just give my information to my coach and let him fucking deal with it. But the only even whisperings that I've heard about an opponent so far was some guy with, like, 4 years experience, and my coach was like, yeah, fuck that. Like, why would we do that? So
that's
I don't know.
Maybe you'll get some asshole that, like, just started, and you'll just be able to just fucking...
Just smoke him.
Like, just beat his fucking stupid face into a pulp.
I'd be so annoyed because the amount of work I have had to put in for the last 2 months is, like, not... That would be the lamest payoff ever.
That's true. So it's, like, going to be a proper boss fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, Brian, you've known me long enough at least that, like, I don't have the easiest time putting on weight either.
Okay.
So, like, I weigh in at 155 right now. We did my deadlift max yesterday, which was 235, which is, like, insane. Both of those are numbers I never thought I would ever touch. And it's been a really cool body positivity thing for me, too, because I've always kind of struggled with that and being little.
How tall are you?
5'9".
Oh, okay.
So it's been like, oh, okay, like, it's been a cool thing, but,
Hell yeah.
I might have to, like, cut some weight, which is an insane concept to me, because I've never, ever had to struggle with, like, losing some weight.
How the fuck would you do that? What would you do? Just not eat for a week and just fucking go for, like, runs every day?
Yeah, I don't think there's, like, healthy ways to do it. It's part of the reason I'm not pursuing this professionally, because I think a lot of the ways you go about it are, like, not ways in which you live a long time.
I've heard that a lot of fighters like give themselves eating disorders, basically.
Yeah, it's a lot of dehydration shit. It's a lot of, like, whatever. If I was told that if I was going to fight pro, like, ever, which I'm already, like, past the age where that would be a viable thing,
right,
I'd be fighting at, like, 135, and I was 135 before I started training there.
Oh.
So, like, and I feel, like, very healthy right now, so I'm like, I don't know how I would do that and not feel like I'm gonna die, particularly while getting bludgeoned in the face and, like, choked out and shit. So, I don't know.
Yeah, holy fuck. Where is the fight? Is it somewhere in Lowell?
Cambridge.
Oh, it's
wow,
in Cambridge?
no way.
You gotta send us the date for that. That'd be fun as fuck. Is it like something that like people go to? Is it like a spectators type situation?
No, I've kind of been given the vibe that, like, not a lot of people are allowed in, and if I do get people allowed in, it's a handful.
Yeah.
But I would be absolutely lying if I didn't say that you two are at the top of that list. Because I don't know if there's many funnier things than me getting, like, concussed potentially, and then us rolling into the parking lot and trying to record an episode.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like,
yeah, we'll do like a Joe Rogan style, like, fight unpacking, like, in the parking lot of some fucking local boxing gym. Well, I hope you don't get concussed. That would fucking suck.
Yeah, it would. I don't know if have you seen the ridiculous headgear I have to start wearing?
I've seen like the headgear that, like, people wear training and shit. Is it, like, just the standard, like, weird fucking red headband thing?
Yeah, it's like a bucket that you put on your head and makes your visibility way less. Like,
it's
you
like a
don't
night
have
helm.
peripheral vision. Yeah, and you have to wear it for a smoker, I guess. I'm really trying to get out of it because it like feels more dangerous. And I guess the science behind this, as I've been told, is that it actually makes it way worse if you get hit in the head.
Interesting.
Why do they want you to wear it?
It's some weird antiquated shit, and like not for nothing, people that punch each other in the head aren't really worried about safety in general.
Right.
Like I think it's more about the like optics of it.
Is it so maybe you don't like, is it like, could it prevent like orbital fractures or nose breaking and shit like that?
It's nose breaking, and it protects your the nerve in like the back of your cheekbone that like really puts your lights out.
Oh.
But it makes like concussion danger way higher.
Interesting. Yeah, wow, that fucking sucks. Fuck that.
Yeah. And I hate it because I just can't fucking see. And I feel safer when I can see stuff coming from my sides. Yeah, it's been pretty silly. I also look ridiculous with it on because I already make a point to every time I train look as fruity as possible. Like I have these neon rainbow booty shorts that I wear.
Nice.
And like fluorescent pink and yellow tank tops that I just go in all the time. So I'm already like, I'm pushing it, and then I put this helmet on, and it's not serving, to say the least.
Right. Damn, holy shit. Hey, so a bit of a gear shift. So the single, I don't want to like talk to, I don't want to bore people to death with shop talk, but the single that's coming out tonight or whatever is titled The MC, and it is like the first of many singles to come. Would you want to talk about like the kind of the narrative happening there a little bit, or is that more?
I do. I would love to talk
Hell yeah!
about
So what's
that.
up with the MC? I've heard you guys refer to it as the scary song.
It is the scary song. Well, first of all the artwork for all these singles is being done by one super underground, like no one, totally irrelevant artist named Brian Huntress. You should really get them on the show sometime. I feel like it'd be like a really good thing for you guys. Maybe we could help out this this no name bullshit.
We could try. I've heard that guy never
TikTok.
answers his messages though.
I don't.
Damn.
Damn. Yeah, no, I'm excited to have done the art. It's always fun to I look back at some of the past art I've done for Bullpup, and it's fun to see it just becoming a bit of a series, like an accidental series of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I vibe with that. And that's like kind of like, it feels like that too. But the MC is the first in series of singles we're doing. So there's a multifaceted thing with the approach with these next few songs. Me and John predominantly do the writing, lyrically at least, for the band. And because we have a lot of theater background and we like to implement that a lot, we try to have at least an overarching concept or some type of narrative force going through our albums. Spotify and all the algorithms and all the bullshit that you have to play does not like long-form projects like that. Absolutely hates it. Your shit that you work super hard on and spend like years crafting and doing the pre-production, the recording, and the mixing and mastering after, and all of the music videos and all the press, and you spend like 3 years span on an album for it to get choked out, and the only thing that get pushed is the singles. So we're taking a little bit of a pivot and still working in that overarching theme throughout these songs, but trying to do character pieces specific in a larger narrative scale, and putting them out as singles and kind of riding that fucking hype of the MCU and cinematic universes and all of that type of thing, where it can be an individual character piece, but it lends itself to adding life and fleshing out a greater world on the outside once you have it.
Whoops, sorry, a motorcycle just fucking blasted our fucking... My bad. What was the last part of that sentence you said?
Just that, like, once the songs are all done and that we finally have them all together, it actually ends up fleshing out like a full created world.
They're like serializing.
Yeah, almost. And we're trying to release them a little bit out of order so that we can bury the lead a little bit in terms of like what the end game of the bigger project is. But we're calling the project as a whole the Grey Cabaret. And essentially it's just kind of using the employment structure and kind of institution of a cabaret to pull some parallels into class struggles and exploitation and a capitalist workplace and all kinds of things that like that. And basically any societal struggle that you might see in the world outside, we can kind of personify that with a skeezy club where maybe the employees aren't dealt with very well and the dancers aren't treated the most safely and kind of stuff like that, while still pulling from our own lives and having these like over-the-top caricature characters be those big concepts. And that's my elevator pitch on that.
That's really fucking cool. I really like thinking about the idea of kind of responding to the platform and the limitations of the platform and the marketing that's forced on you with a kind of creative bent. Like, that's a really interesting way to overcome those limitations.
Yeah, we just got really bummed out after Be Evil because we did, like, everything right. In air quotes, you know, where, like, and it didn't like, flop by any means, you know what I mean? Like, our numbers were decent and it was, like, healthy, but it was really obvious when we did the Veronica video that, like, there was something to fleshing out a single as much as you can conceptually. Yeah. Which is why we're doing a music video for the MC2, which will come out the week after the song. So if you're listening to this, the song's out September 2nd, 2022. The Friday after that is when the music video will be out. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it's the Friday after September 2nd.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Could you talk about the process of, like, what was doing it right for Be Evil?
So, we did, with Be Evil specifically, we did full pre-production. So we essentially wrote all the songs and tracked all of them at home from home setups, kind of as a dummy run, and then sent them all to our producer, Mike Abuiso from Behind the Curtains Media, formerly of the Venetia Fair, literally one of my heroes and also all around just super nice and dear friend at this point. But he then would listen to all of those and kind of get the vibe of what we were looking for from a production standpoint, but then also give us feedback on the parts individually. And then we can take another crack at it in pre-production rather than being in the studio and worrying about rewriting too much and, like, worrying about just, like, making sure that the song is coherent. You can just go into the studio and, like, hit it as hard as you can and just perform the part as best as it is without having to worry about changing things up on the spot too much. You know, if an inspiration hits or anything like that, that's a different thing rather than, hey, this literally doesn't work. What are we going to do? Our pre-production process for Be Evil wasn't the best. I think this time around for these next few singles that are coming out has been insurmountably more efficient. So, like, it's been a learning process as we go to, because, like, working with Mike has taught us a lot of things. But so that's pre-production. Then once we go to the actual recording process, we all drive down to Brooklyn, and then you track your drums first. And all that Gav can hear while he's tracking drums is a click, and then all of the tracks that we had done from pre-production. So he has something to play to, and he kind of knows what, like, energy-wise and dynamics-wise, what things are going to kind of sound like, and he has an approximation of what the finished product's going to be without it just being me and a guitar, which is what we always did before. Then after that, Tim will track to Gav's final drum tracks. Once he's all done, we'll take him out of the pre-production version, and then he can hear me, Robbie, and John in the pre-production, and then Gav for real, and he can work with that approximation. And then it just kind of slowly builds up from there, and we go all the way down the line. Once we get all the core tracks done, you add double tracking, any effect and layering stuff on top, and then after that, it goes to mix, which is just like making things sound nice and neat once everything's recorded. And then mastering, which is making sure like all the songs across the board sound right and it sounds good on all devices, yada, yada, yada.
So one thing I'm curious about, to interject a little bit, is that,
yeah.
So for as long as I've known you, one thing that I feel like has defined your musical process to me, or something that has set you apart a lot, is the fact that you, in terms of Bullpup, you won't cut corners with the production. And there's like so many bands that we know, or artists that we know, that will just be like, fuck it, I'll just like shit this out on a phone recording, or I'll just fuck around in GarageBand and put it out, or like people fudge stuff a lot, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And like I just think that you're probably one of the only people I know that isn't like rich, that is putting all of it on the line in terms of the production, which is something that I respect. But I was wondering, like, I think that if there's people listening that don't know about the album production process, you know what I mean? Like, everything you just said might be like, oh yeah, that sounds like how everybody does it. But like, that's pretty high level, what you're talking about doing, that most people aren't doing. You know what I mean?
For sure. There's two things I want to say with that. One, I'm crazy. I am like not well. We did a documentary of like the evil tracking, and if you look at that process, we didn't do a documentary for these last few singles, but like you can kind of see me talking about it a lot. And obviously, you guys know me personally, so it's a little different. My relationship with the Be Evil process was super unhealthy. And I was working like 60 hours a week, overtime all the time, driving myself into the ground to make sure I could like make ends meet for that production to happen. The finished product was definitely like worth it, but like that cost a lot out of my life as like a human.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to make any bones about like, yeah, everyone should just do this. It is like not necessarily always the way. You want to create within your means. I'm very fortunate in that like my work ethic has mostly carried me, but like it took a hit on my psyche for a little while there, and I'm back on the upswing, but like it caught up. The other half of that being with Bullpup specifically, when you're working in these giant sweeping themes and like shooting for the stars ambitiously as a concept to begin with, to me, it is respecting the craft and respecting the art form to shoot for the stars with equal, maybe naive and blind ambition, to meet that across the board. You know, if it's going to start as an idea and be like massive, to try to bring that into fruition as much as you can is like, you kind of got to. And I don't always do that. I mean, like Sub-Zero at best, I haven't touched it in a while, obviously, but that's just me and an acoustic guitar. The most production that comes out of that is me and Matt Minigel sit in a room and like he presses the record button instead of me.
Right.
And that's kind of more of a just, all right, this is what I'm thinking about right now. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that take, cool. That's the one, done. Cut for kill the pig.
Yeah, which is good shit. I think like, I don't know, like, you know, and to compare it to like visual art in a lot of ways, like people there, like I've met a lot of people, like obviously like with making art within your means, being said, and obviously too, like everybody has their own financial situation and financial limitations and shit. But I have, with that all being said and considered, I have met a lot of artists with a great vision, or with like this like with like great taste, and they have this like they have amazing art in them, but they don't give a fuck about presentation at all, or they'll be using, you know, like bottom of the barrel, like horrible materials, or like in a sense, like, you know, maybe these values are superficial in some ways, maybe, but what they do is they end up in a lot of ways completely devaluing their creativity and their art because they're not respecting it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just because, and even though they have this great vision and like really great taste and maybe even the ability to make really dope stuff, they, you know, they forego production and maybe artists, like, you know, they don't use materials that match their skill level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that, I don't know if this is a one-to-one translation, but I do hear you in particular talk a lot about art being archival, and that kind of being a real difference maker in terms of like physical mediums.
For sure.
I would imagine that that's probably in that same vein of what you're talking about with like cheaper materials not lasting as long, right?
It's definitely included. It's definitely in there, yeah.
I'm of a similar mind with that too, of like, if I am going to invest a certain amount of time in this, I want it to like maybe outlast me, you know? So even if you do everything at home, like we did a lot of the recording at home for the layering for Be Evil, and then we did all of Robbie's stuff from the home studios just because our kit kind of caught up to where we could do, you know, lead guitars. We wouldn't do everything from home for sure, but Robbie's stuff ended up sounding nice enough that we could just record Robbie in a couple days from my place and his place, and send it in. At least like investing in decent mixing and mastering kind of preserves that archival aspect for good audio, at least. And it also, the argument to that, if I was going to push back on like my own sentiment on that, is it depends on what your intent is with what you're making. You don't necessarily need pristine, super neat audio if you have like a really good live jazz trio or, you know, singer-songwriter acoustic. You're going to get more of the vibe from the feel of the performance than you are the quality of the audio.
Right. The conversation completely changes when you start to factor in like just style and aesthetics.
Exactly. You know, if you have a super tight, clicky metalcore band, yeah, you probably want really, really high-end audio, just because everything needs to be like within a fraction of a millisecond in time with each other. Just different strokes.
Yeah. You know what else I'm curious about too is you talked about your process with Be Evil being unhealthy. Why? What was so bad about what you were doing?
I was just really lost in the sauce, and I really cared about everyone's opinion on everything, and I directly correlated my self-worth to how the process was going, let alone how people were going to receive it, let alone how not everyone's going to agree on everything. And I am desperate to make everyone that is working on the project happy, because I don't like just let anyone work on these things, because it's so close and near to my heart. So the people that like I include in this and that I'm doing this with are my family, let alone my team. You know, you have 5 to 10 other people working on it, depending on what step of the process you're in. And if I'm letting those people in, I want to make sure I'm taking care of them, let alone myself, let alone the content itself. And at some point, you need to find the middle ground. And I was just really bad at finding the middle ground. It was just like, please everyone, leave nothing on the table, even if it is completely at the cost of my well-being, of my finances, of my sleep, of anything. Just lay it out. And this time around, I've been way better about just being like, hey, sorry, this is how it's going to be. Or like, we can't do that, but can I offer this? And it's like, okay, it's just been a different thing. And I think a lot of that is also just growing up. I mean, that was our first like obviously something like No One Must Die, which is like a way older album for us, was a studio album in air quotes, but there's a lot difference between a full production cycle and like just renting a studio for a while and having a decent engineer on.
Right. Do you feel like, so with No One Must Die, was that studio time and decent engineer?
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
with all respect to everybody involved, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, and Sean's great. You know, I would work with Sean any day of the week. It's just like getting him to do what we did with future projects is way more expensive because Sean's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
We all recorded at the same time to a click for No One Must Die.
That's fucked.
Yeah. It's not impossible, but it's just like really different, and you can hear the difference.
Interesting.
All things considered, I'm like fine with the production on the first two, but like you can tell. I mean, you listen to Moritz and then you listen to Veronica. Like it's not. It doesn't even sound like the same band.
It's pretty. The newer stuff is like garagey in a really good way. Like I really like how clean like No One Must Die is. It was a great album, but the direction currently, or just the recent stuff I've heard is like has like a lot of like rawness and a really interesting edge to it.
And a lot of that is like who you're working with too. You know, Sean is a country and pop guy. And
right.
He's like an insane producer, but like he didn't necessarily know what we were aiming for. Mike was in the band that made me want to make this band, and we sat down and he was like, okay, what do we want to sound like? And I was like, can we make Cursive the Ugly Organ? And he was like, yeah, we can fucking do that.
And that was an album by Venetian Fair?
Well, The Ugly Organ was an album by Cursive, but it was an album that he listened to a lot too when he was doing Venetia.
Wow.
And so he kind of...
He was like, he's like, say no more.
Yeah.
It was like the barber meme.
Yeah, literally was. So we both knew what we were looking for out of a lot of it is just drum production and vocals and how strict you're going to be with like the messier parts of those. Like I think that's ultimately what really, really sculpts an album, and then like the guitar tone kind of comes second to that. But yeah, he like got the vision a little more for sure.
Fuck yeah. Shit.
Yeah, indeed.
This is kind of a...
No,
Oh, sorry, what?
no, Theo, you go.
This is like, we moved past this point a little bit, but I was just thinking too, I want to just emphasize too part of what you were saying with kind of talking about creative boundaries with different projects. I think it's really cool to hear you talking about that, because I think it's so common, which I don't necessarily even disagree with this perspective, but people talk all the time about how, like, when you're an independent artist or, like, starting your own creative business like that you have to be hustling all the time and thinking about it all the time and just putting yourself into it, and it's not about money, it's not about connections, it's about just getting it done and doing what you love or whatever. And I think that that's cool, and I don't not ascribe to that, but I think that something that comes with that ethos is just sort of a complete lack of boundaries if it furthers your creative goals. And that can be sort of a, what word am I looking for? Like self-immolating philosophy. So
yeah, it's kind of like a Dr. Frankenstein kind of situation.
Yeah, it's the fastest road to burnout, definitely.
Yeah.
Which is not really functional.
Another thing, too, it's like if you're kind of in a bit of a leadership position, maybe among other leaders, too, but if you're making decisions and maybe you're in a kind of executive role, you know, and you're like you were saying, Trevor, like, you know, like basically trading yourself for the desires of others. You know, like, there's two things that are going to suffer from that. One or the other or both. It's like either you're going to be destroyed in the process or the art is going to be destroyed in the process. Like with me and you, Theo, like if, like, you know, the reason that a huge element of the success of our project with the podcast is the fact that we are getting along.
Yeah.
Like, if we fucking hated each other, this would be a disaster. Like, if for some reason we wanted to keep doing it and we hated each other.
Yeah.
Like can you imagine? Anyway, yeah, like we already like argue on the show.
Great. Say that on the air.
Well, I mean, we are anyway.
I'm just kidding. No, it's true though, because like holding those boundaries and making sure that you're making space for yourself is really important. I was talking to one of my friends the other day about the podcast. Actually, my friend Ari, shout out, I love them. But they were like, "How do you hang out with a person that's your best friend, date them, and do art projects with them?"
They
And I
asked
was
you
like,
that?
yeah. And they're like, "How the fuck do you do that without hating each other?" And I was like, well during the work week, we don't hang out. Like, there's a few
That's
days
true.
a week where we just both fuck off.
Yeah.
I think that's key.
I also think that it makes all of those things different.
Yeah.
Because I've like, it's actually easier because like, what am I trying to say? Because we have committed to doing a large project together and being in a relationship, that it makes it easier. What am I trying to say? Like, it's not like we started doing shit together and doing projects together before that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was never a thought. It was never something that we had to decide to do and be like, how are we going to manage this emotionally? Like, that's never happened.
Well, the thing about that I think is interesting, which is why I'm bringing it up now too, is like, Trevor, when you were talking about like the people that are on your team are like family, and like you're balancing these personal relationships and friendships and also trying to get to a certain outcome, like holding space to make sure that your voice is being heard and that you're getting what you need, whether it's like less hours at work so that you can not have to work so much to get the job done, or like not just constantly working your body to the bone or sleeping sometimes. Like, just keeping that room for meditation and room for your own personal development and like ability to sustain is so hard the more you care about the people that you're working on a project with, especially when you all really care about the outcome of the project. So I just think it's really cool to hear you talking about that, how it's actually benefited your work more too and helped you out, you know? I feel like you don't hear that perspective a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually really funny because, like, the second I, like, chilled out on everything and kind of, I mean, you guys saw behind the scenes a little bit, but, like, there was a moment where I was like, I am going to crash and burn. Like, we are in tailspin. And I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. I am going to make a healthy change. I was like, here are my boundaries. This is where we're going to be. And I am doing way less. And when that happened, like, literally from that moment on, and I just let go a lot,
Yeah.
was when things started popping off. Like,
Fuck yeah.
Everything for us started going way better. So I was like, maybe there's something fucking to that.
In terms of vulnerability, a question about vulnerability, one thing that I think, you know, now I'm thinking about, you know, me and Theo as a working group in the way of thinking about Bullpup as a working group. Like, one thing that I think makes me and Theo working together, talking about you in the third person now,
Yeah.
is that,
okay.
you know, maybe I'm pulling this out of my ass, but I feel like one thing that makes it so much easier to work together is the fact that we have a level of vulnerability that I don't have with other people, in the sense that like Theo, I've cried on your shoulder. You have cried on my shoulder. And that lets us be honest with each other in a way that, like, and maybe this is a problem with me and my emotional setup, but like I don't have a lot of like homies that I cry on the shoulders of.
Yeah.
Or like friends that I have like that deep of a bond with. And I'm wondering with you, Trevor, like, do you feel like, you know, because most of the members of Bullpup have been in the band for a fucking long ass time.
Yeah.
So like, do you feel like you guys have like this kind of like literal tears, like a deep emotional connection like that?
Yeah, easily. Well, I'm also on the other end of the spectrum, too, with that, where I'm just, like, so available to everyone at all times, and that is something I've had to kind of combat a little bit, because I'm just like, yes, here are all of my squishy parts, and you could do real damage to me, and here you go, world, at all times. Like, no holds barred. I do not hide anything. I'm just like, here you go.
Yeah.
So I think it was more doing less of that sometimes.
Yeah.
To protect yourself.
Right. The other half of that, though, is Bullpup has been a crew of people that have like seen that and for the most part respected that and like been gentle, like understanding that it's like, oh yeah, that's bare bone that I'm touching, you know.
Wow.
But I don't work with everyone, you know. I've gotten offers to do other things and I don't for that reason.
Right. You've had like a very like serious sense of loyalty to the group.
For sure. And that's
fidelity to Bullpup.
I mean, that's with anyone I work with. My ex-partner, Danielle Danis, is like a phenomenal photographer, and we're not together anymore, but she's still like the best photographer that I know and understands how my mind works. So like, we're cool enough that we'll still do shoots together and stuff like that because she's just good at it, and it's someone that I know like hears me being vulnerable in an artistic sense, and she's going to respect it. And that goes through to like any of the crew, you know, like same thing with Mike. I've had worse situations with other producers, and I can just put all my guts out on a string, and Mike is going to be like, okay. And if there's something that he needs to tell me that's going to be hard to hear, he knows how to be gentle with it and like work with me on it. I'm very lucky with the people that we've been able to work with and that we've accrued onto our team.
Something that I'm noticing a theme in what you're saying, with a lot of the ways you're putting this, is that I'm kind of wondering, like, with maybe your upbringing or your kind of framework, a lot of what you're saying is, like, making yourself totally vulnerable first and putting yourself out there for the person you're around to decide what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that was, like, an accurate statement? And even so, like, I'm kind of wondering, like, where do you think that comes from with your personality type?
I just got the snot beat out of me all the time growing up for like a wicked long time. For just being me. I didn't have my growth spurt until I was like 16, so I was just tiny. Yeah, I was little. I was teeny tiny little dude, and I got queer bashed before I even knew I was queer. I got fucking like, oh, you're small and gay, blah, blah, blah. All the, you know, fun, typical, super conservative cowtown stuff.
Yeah.
And I would just get my shit rocked for it. I got beat up all the time. I got bullied mercilessly for it. And so when I'm on the other side of it now, that, like, it doesn't happen anymore, I just, like, try to be over the top out there with all of it. Because if I am really, really reassured with my sense of self and putting that super, super forward, but also putting that into my art in a way that maybe has a catchy hook and can reassure someone else that it's, like, chill to be in that space and that, like, it doesn't really matter what someone who's going to knock your teeth out thinks about you as long as you like you, then I'm, you know, I have what I need out of life right now. I have the people around me that are going to take care of me. I'm taking care of myself, and I hope that it helps other people take care of themselves.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's super hokey.
No, it's totally...
I should get beat up.
I mean, it's like, what else? I don't know. Like, it's kind of, it's like, because you know what's something I've noticed just in my own life and the art that I'm attracted to throughout my, you know, because I grew up listening to emo and this like, you know, hard on your sleeve, like Simple Plan, like Green Day stuff. But I just think it's weird through my personality type, for some reason, whatever, just for fucking some reason, like, because, you know, when I was like 9, like, I mean, like, my life wasn't all fucked up and I needed, like, some bleeding heart, like, sad thing to listen to. But for some reason, that's exactly what I was attracted to.
Yeah.
All the time. The art and the music that I've loved has always been emotional and sad. But I feel like I've been exposed to in my life so many people that, like, you know what's something I realized about myself? It's like there's people. Okay, what am I trying to say? Like, if you put on music around me or something like that, I will literally, the phrase, "this is depressing," will literally not ever come out of my mouth. Like, I don't ever look at things and think, this is sad.
Yeah.
This music is making me sad. Like, it's just not a part of my brain. But there's a lot of people that would listen to the things that I like and be like, this is making me sad. Like, this is dark and weird. I want to listen to something else. And, like, fuck, I completely have no idea why I'm saying this anymore. But I guess I just realized, I'm like, there's something with my taste or with the way I'm thinking that's making me not register things as sad. Like, music that isn't sad and music that is sad is like a dichotomy that didn't occur to me, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Right. And it's still expressive, I think, was the point that you were getting to at the beginning, because you were saying that you weren't a sad kid at the time, but you were still listening to it. So, like, there's still something there. Like, there's something outside of just, like, the lyrics being like, I'm sad.
How could this happen to me? Like, I think I was, like, literally 9 listening to that. Anyway, what were you going to say, Theo?
Well, I was gonna say, I think there's something to that, though, especially, like, as a kid, because it's funny now, because you have more, like, I mean, I don't want to say complexity, because, like, kids are complex, but you don't realize that it's hokey when you're 9, because you're 9, you know what I mean?
Right, it's, like, the most profound thing in the world.
Yeah, and I think that there's something really exciting about listening to something that's as emotional as that, because it's kind of like maybe it served the same purpose as, like, watching, like, a docudrama or something serves now, where it's like, it might not be about your feelings and your ability to relate to it, but it's experiencing that person's emotion. You know what I mean? Like,
Are you talking about empathy? Because I literally have never felt empathy once in my life.
I am an empath, and I'm going to see My Chemical Romance next week, so...
That's so lit.
Yeah, we got the tickets.
Dude, it's my first time.
I've never seen them either.
I was supposed to see My Chemical Romance in New Jersey in 2011, and my mom didn't let me go. So this is going to heal a little part of our relationship, like, go next week.
That would have been absolutely bonkers.
I fucking know.
But to take take back the meme and actually, like, validate what you were saying, like, yeah, I think that's absolutely the case. Like, I think, like, learning how to explore yourself emotionally through that thing in something in a song, like, you know how it's going to start and end. You know what I mean? Like, once you learn the song, it's like, okay, that's always going to be the song. And learning that part of your emotional set and then figuring out how that affects other people is literally, like, learning empathy to some degree. And, like, that's a super important and cool service that provides subconsciously. It's probably something, you know, the guy writing that song in fucking, like, 2005 probably was not thinking about that at the time. He was probably
Shouts
just
out
like,
Pierre
yeah,
from
my
Simple
girlfriend
Plan.
sucks.
That's a really cool way to think about it, though. Because it's, like, it's so funny, too, because now listening to songs like that at, like, 25 or whatever, it's so... Like, somehow it's nostalgic. It makes me think about being 10. Listening to songs about, like, some dude breaking up with his girlfriend and, like, maybe calling her a bitch or something.
Well, I think it's similar. I think there's two effects happening where, for example, if I hear, you know, the song, like, feel the rain on your skin, no one else can feel it. So that song makes me feel like I'm, like, 6 years old.
Yeah.
Because that was all over the radio when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So, like, songs like that immediately make me feel, like, youthful, but I feel like there's also a lot of music. Like, you know what I heard somebody talking about one time, where I don't think this is true, but they were like, can you imagine if you had a baby and you know how kids' music, like Old MacDonald or whatever the fuck, it's just like C, 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 F, 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 G. You know, it's just like major key 1 or 2 chords or something.
Yeah.
But they were like, what if you, to a baby, played a bunch of sad minor key things, but you were like, haha, like happy, made happy faces while you played it. Could you make that kid feel like minor key things were happy? And, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, maybe that was too much. I overcontextualized, but I guess what I'm saying is that I think sad music is a kind of like, I think it's innately recognized. I'm bold claim for even though I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I think that like if you had never heard fucking music before and you heard a sad song without knowing the lyrics, I feel like it would feel sad. Do you think that's crazy?
No, I totally get what you're saying, and I think like yes, because like it's just like this is what you are taught to feel when you hear this pattern of chords and this like mathematical separation of intervals. But I also do think it's hilarious that you just pitched a like Clockwork Orange style indoctrination of a baby. It's just like I'm a clown, and it's like a C minor 7.
It's just like dark, horrible shit. And like for the record, I don't think that would work. Like I think it would probably just scare the child. Probably.
I don't think that's the fucked up part of it, if it works or not.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Okay, you want to know? This is like, wow. Okay, I'm about to embarrass myself on public TV. Everyone, are you ready?
Yes.
I think about all the time, and I mean like all the time. What would happen if we just took a person and let them grow up to be like 25, because that's when your brain stops developing fully, right? That's like 25.
Yeah, around that time.
And you just kept them in a box, void of any stimulation whatsoever. You feed them.
Just in like a sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
They have no bones. I'm just kidding.
And then you just like take them out when they're 25, and their brain is fully developed, knowing nothing. Do they understand that like things that bring them joy? Like, would they understand listening to a major song that it's like a happy song? Because they don't speak the language at all, because they've just been in this box. They've just been surviving the whole time.
I would say that specific person, probably not. Maybe not. But maybe like a caveman would.
What?
Like, not somebody that's just been in like a room, in like a shed for 20 years.
Well, yeah, a caveman still has like an idea of society. And, like,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe. Well, actually, maybe, because if you think about it, the most basic forms of gratification is like eating, like
Right.
nutrition. Like your body feels like shit when it doesn't have vegetables, and then you eat food, and you're like, I feel awesome now.
But what if we only feed them soya or whatever that is?
Oh my god. So are we trying this or what? Are we gonna set this up and we'll be able to readdress this conversation when we're all like 50? When when our subject has a developed brain.
Dude, my brain was just born.
What? Oh yeah. Because it's fully grown.
I just became valid.
You're valid now. Welcome to the club.
Thanks.
Good for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that. So I think even taking like the absurdity out of it, I think it's almost like we're talking. It's almost like we're asking, is there like innate joy? Right. And like I think that. Oh, did we lose you?
No.
Oh, okay. I heard a beep. I thought my fucking. Anyway, but like it's almost, and I think the answer to that would probably be yes, but only in the way that like food, like warmth, or like connection with people. Like I think all of those things are like older than humans.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, here's the thing,
This is a
though.
weird
Like,
conversation.
I guess it depends what you're asking. Like, are you asking if... I guess if you thought of a person that was raised on, like, a deserted island, like this random baby gets separated from their family, somehow survives in the wild, grows up on a beach.
Tarzan.
Yeah. Like, are you asking if that person experiences joy? Because I feel like the answer is yes.
Well, that person's doing things, though. That's why I always go with the box. Like, their sanity is barely developed, basically. Like, their standards are just astronomically low. So when they actually experience things, like, what does that look like?
But I don't think that even in the box, I don't think that they wouldn't be doing things. Like, I think that they would have to be, like, I don't know, like, they have to have a hobby.
Well, no, because if you're just in a box for years, you would have no bone density or muscle, or you probably, your teeth would fall out and you would be blind.
Well,
like, your body wouldn't even fucking work if you just lived in a box for 2 decades.
You wouldn't.
You would be like comatose.
You would either die, or you would start, like...
You'd be, like, covered, and you'd be, like, gangrenous with bed sores and shit.
Where would you pee and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't even live for, like, more than a year or two.
That's what I'm saying.
You're just in a crate.
You...
You would just die.
Well, I feel like you'd probably start hallucinating or something.
Yeah, probably.
Which means that you would still innately wind up entertaining yourself.
You know, also, to make this, like, more dark and, like ruin the fun a little bit, I have read about multiple true crime, like horrible things.
Shut up!
Where basically I'm saying where this has happened. Where, like, people have done this to people, basically. And it actually does, the people that have experienced this, did not recover.
Well, yeah.
At all.
But, like, do they experience joy?
Yes. Like, I think that they can, like, walk and talk, but they're not, like, regular folk.
If I played them an emo song, would they like it?
Yeah, that's the real question that we're kind of...
The talk country Ohio's for lovers for that.
Would they get it?
That it's mid.
You know what's you want to hear something, like, insane that I did that's, like, kind of intrusive? But speaking of Hawthorne Heights, that band. So I was basically just looking up that band, and I was like, who the fuck was the singer of that? Like, where do you think that guy is right now? So I found out his name, and I started looking him up on all kinds of shit, and he's not famous, obviously, because they were, like, just...
At the bunny, this guy?
I just literally deep dove on the singer of Hawthorne Heights. I found his Instagram, like, his wife, and I found... Literally, like, this is where I was like, all right, this is weird. But, like, I found his kid who's, like, in high school, who has, like, an art account.
Aww.
And I was like, this is so fucking weird, because the guy, like, wasn't popular.
Yeah.
He's just some, like, 42-year-old guy, like, with a family that just, like, lives somewhere.
You know what's so
But his
wild?
band was, like, his band, he just has one song that's just, like, iconic. To a generation.
Dudes, all of the, like, iconic emo bands from, like, 2000 to 2005, most of them have kids that are in the emo years right now.
Yeah.
They're, like Gerard Way's daughter is, like, 14.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
She's in her My Chemical Romance era. Not that I really left mine, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it, though. Yeah, it's definitely weird, because, like, you know, this is, like... It's kind of interesting, because I know that, you know, emo, it is, like, you know, transcends what we call emo, and there's people that are like, that's not real emo, scrams, blah, blah. And, like, I'm not talking about those people at all. Sorry if you're alienated by that, but, like, but, like, emo, this is, like, with the emo that we know, like, early 2000s pop-punk influenced emo, like, that stuff is in its first nostalgia generation. Like, grunge and shit like that has been passed down 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Or, like, Elvis has been passed down fucking a million fucking times from generation to generation. You know what I mean? And this is the first one that emo's going through in that way. And I think that's why it's so fucking mind-blowing to us, because, like, we were little kids during its first fucking boom. Like, it was, like, so new and sick. And obviously, like, The Cure had existed for people that were older than us and shit. And,
but
like, there was
different.
I'm saying, like, there was black hair and makeup and emotional music. Like, that wasn't invented in 2001.
But you know what I think was different about this particular wave that I think is really interesting?
Yeah.
Is that the internet wasn't a thing at that point. And I feel like there have been different waves of emo in conjunction with different... Like, TikTok emo is not MySpace emo, is not Facebook emo.
Yeah, no.
Can you say that one more time?
TikTok emo is not Facebook emo, is not MySpace emo.
Yeah, I feel like TikTok emo is like Juice World.
Yeah.
And like fucking...
Like MGK.
Yeah.
Like, they're a fucking corpse husband.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love with an emo girl.
Right, but yeah, no.
I wanted to like that song so bad.
I really wanted to as well, but...
Did I tell you guys about the person with the MGK thing?
No, what was
Okay,
it?
that's an off-mic story.
Okay, sure.
You have an off-mic MGK story?
Unfortunately.
Holy
Iconic.
shit.
That's hilarious. Holy shit.
If
Yeah.
anything you think it's gonna be, it is worse.
I'm
Holy
thinking some
shit.
pretty bad shit, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really great.
I'm excited for that one.
Damn, is this like your 4th appearance on the podcast now?
Yeah, but you know what's really funny about it?
What?
We haven't at length talked about Bullpup once. We have like talked about like music and musicals as an art form in the first one.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like riding the wave of whatever art thing you guys were talking about in the other two. So like, I think this is the first time we've like actually made a concerted effort to talk about like the Bullpup goal.
Really?
Like,
That's such an oversight.
Well, honestly, I kind of think that it's like low-key and accidental good play, because for, you know, the core group of people that do listen to our show, I feel like they were probably able to like you before they were exposed to your project.
you know, me getting them parasocial homies. here.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Like that, and I think that is like a way better way of like of hooking people,
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, but that's totally like random and unimportant. But no, it is fucking awesome. It is awesome to be able to you know, actually talk about Bullpup and stuff. And that's why we wanted to do this episode, because like we need content, but also I was like, fucking the MC is literally going to come out.
Fuck yeah,
And
dude.
we didn't have like an episode that needed to come out tomorrow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got you.
Like we've been totally fucking fried recently, because we're recording like 7 million different episodes and interviews right now,
Yeah.
but we can't air any of them.
We're working on some
Because they're-
secret underground bundles right now.
We're working on a few we got that announcement coming soon energy right now.
Gotcha.
Just a little tease.
Well, you guys know anytime you want, I'm like a wind-up toy, and you can just like kind of crank it and then just let it go for a while, and I can cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, no,
Anytime
that's
you're like, oh shit, I'll pretend I know what I'm talking about.
I hope you know that we literally know that and have also discussed that. That's like we have like, you are probably one of a handful of people that we would do that with, probably.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, we're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, and we gotta honestly take advantage of that more, because when we are fucked, we just like painfully
We're just like,
like car accident
fucked.
through an
I
episode.
want to walk and see gnomes and then get mad.
Yeah,
was so
I
funny.
saw your description on that episode for the first time like 2 days ago, by the way. I had
Wasn't it
nothing
funny?
to do with Theo takes Brian on a cute walk and Brian behaves terribly the whole time.
Why was that bad? I
No.
thought I was kind of making fun of myself. I
No,
don't
it's
know.
fine.
Oh, I thought it was silly. I mean, I also that's one of those ones where it's a rare instance of I'm like, I know these people. I don't know if other people would think that this is chill. But I definitely, like, I'm like, oh yeah, Brian definitely wrote that.
Right.
I didn't write it, just so everyone knows.
Yeah. Basically I'm the only one usually interfacing with the distribution.
I made the fucking website.
Oh yeah,
I made the
Theo's
website.
beautiful website. So this
Yeah.
episode is going to come out
Oh, before my website episode?
Yeah, so maybe you could plug the website again if you want.
Upcoming is an episode that we made where I just bragged about making the website for
You don't have
2
to
hours.
plug the plug. You could just say it again now.
Fucking BostonArtPodcast.com, bro.
We have a pod.
Do you want me to do the whole plug? Should I do the whole plug?
Sure. Yeah. Whatever.
Should I do my radio style plug?
Yeah.
https //www.bostonartpodcast.com. Not .wix, just .com. Regular. I made it. Theo made it alone.
Yeah, I didn't help at all.
Yep.
Because I was actually against the website.
Yeah, and I said, fuck you, and I made the website. And the color
yeah.
palette is teal, because that's my color of my hair. There's professional photos on there, which were also my idea of us. We look really good.
Shout
my
out.
hair is teal,
Shout
like
out
the
to
website.
Ed Newt.
Shout out to Ed Newt, who we did an episode with recently, who took our photos. He's pretty great. Anyway, it looks really good. It's very profesh. We look great. And it has an RSS feed of our episodes, so you can listen to them if you don't have Spotify for some reason. Like, if you live, like, under a rock or something, you can listen to them there. There's also a blog now. That's kind of exciting news. So when we say that we're going to put a link in bio, that's actually where we can put it, and there's more information on different episodes going forward. We've had some situations where we've been in a physical space with an artist, and they were talking to us about their work, and we weren't able to actually show the listener that. So now we have a place to dump photos so you can kind of see what we're talking about if we're describing a physical object in a space or a gallery. We can drop videos if we go to live shows, like write up things about places that we've been. So we do have a blog now. That's kind of exciting. And we have a place for our press materials and our CVs, and you can check out our LinkedIn's. It's our professional page where we don't say fuck.
Yeah. Woo! Thank you, Theo.
Yeah.
That was a really good plug.
Thank you. I do it again next week.
Hell yeah.
That's so funny.
You should probably do that, like, earnestly for, like, the next, like, 4 episodes.
I was thinking about making a little thing for the end of the episode where I just attach it every single time.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Different people are going to listen to different ones.
I'm gonna run an ad that's just a reel of me saying that, but I'm just talking into the camera with, like, no editing or anything for, like, 6 minutes. And I'm gonna promote it on Instagram. I'm gonna pay, like, $30.
Oh my god. Jeez.
And there won't be a link. You just have to type it yourself.
I was thinking about Instagram ads today and how during the pandemic, I don't even know if I want to say this, how we were just...
I know.
We weren't, like, being stupid, and we knew that the ads were, like, you know, we weren't, like... We were fucking just...
How much did you spend?
On Instagram ads?
Yeah.
We were just balling out. We had
I spent $700.
Did you really? we were going off.
That wasn't even week worth of my pandemic money, though, so...
Right, exactly.
Whatever.
We were just like, fuck it, we ball.
Do you want to know how much I spent when I was in college before the pandemic money, though? It was $1,300.
Yeah, dude, Facebook... Because, like, I actually, before, like, way before the pandemic, I used to run ads on Facebook a lot, too. Because for a while, that was the only play.
Which, like, keep in mind, when I'm saying that budget, that's not for, like, merch stuff, that's not for materials, like, that's not my overall budget. That is just me boosting views on an Instagram post that's, like, an ink doodle.
Yeah, we were on crack.
I don't know what the fuck.
I don't know.
We literally used an ad agency for the entirety of the run of Be Evil, and I'd have to check with John because John covered a lot of it, but it was like, it was up there. It was in the thousands. And,
oh,
like,
man.
Yeah.
Most of it YouTube ads, and it did end up paying off, but, like, it doesn't feel great when you're doing it.
Right.
It was worth it. I did get a lot of followers out of it, and they weren't followers that dropped off either. They're people that still engaged with my posts.
You were killing it. You were killing it for sure. Trevor, do you remember the days, like, maybe, am I just fucking, like, old or a dumbass, but, like, do you remember the days in, like, 2015 maybe to, like, 2018 where it was, like, the only option for promoting art and, like, music was just basically, like, bludgeoning yourself to death psychologically with a Facebook fan page?
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was it. That was the only thing you could do. Like, if you wanted to promote yourself, you were, like, inviting people to like your page every day.
Ugh.
Posting on the page and then sharing it to your personal immediately.
Ugh.
I know the big one that we did, and I know you did this too, was like follow X amount of people, and then after a certain amount of time, if they don't follow you back, unfollow.
Oh yeah, that was my that was my original game on Instagram for like forever. Follow unfollow, that follow unfollow technique. Yeah, no, that's a horrible. That it doesn't even work anymore. If you follow too many people within a certain amount of time, it shuts you off from following people.
Yeah.
And the same with unfollowing.
Now I just waterboard myself on camera and hope people like it.
It's better. It's literally better. We live in like we live in like a new age of organic promotion, and I'm here for it, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
Despite like the rat race being like kind of unhealthy at times, like when I remember Facebook band page days, I shiver with like and I like it's like a skeleton is standing behind me.
Do you guys think that Facebook events are dead? Like, if someone sends you a Facebook event request, is that, like, kind of an L for them?
No, it's not an L for them. It's helpful. But, like, honestly, dude, I've put on events in the last, like, year or so where the Facebook event page had, like, 30 people invited to it, less. Like, maybe nobody even responded to it, no posts in it, and then I forget I even made it. And then promote everything on Instagram, and then the event turned out fine.
Yeah.
I also will say I've had pretty much the same experience, and then I've had like a lot of people who I had no idea were coming show up and be like, "Oh yeah, I saw the Facebook event, so I came."
Right.
They didn't respond to the event at all.
Okay, you're literally like a year younger than me, and you're like the 90-year-old person that's on fucking Facebook exclusively still. Cool. I mean, glad you're here. I love you, but like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, something I like to keep in mind with promotion and shit too is that something I feel like a lot of us forget, because all three of us, I think in terms of culture and internet usage, all three of us are probably more online than the average person.
Yeah.
Chronically.
Yeah, we are chronically online, possibly.
Terminally, maybe?
Yes. But there are people that are not, and they still, like, we are like, oh, there's a new platform, I'm on it. I'm there. That's the only one, you know, like, or like we're early adopters or learning about new ways of doing things. But there's a lot of people that are just normal people that like are just like, oh yeah, I use Facebook. Or like, oh yeah, I looked at your page the other day to see what you were up to. Or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I think it's important to remember that those people exist.
I get bullied for not updating the Bullpup page on Facebook pretty regularly. They're like, yeah, I didn't know like this thing was coming out because you didn't put it on the page. And I'm like, well, it was on our 6 other social medias that actually get traffic. So
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
I always forget about my Facebook page, and I never ever log in and update it. But I have it automatically linked to my Instagram, so when I post on my Instagram, it posts to my Facebook story.
You know what's funny? I see your Facebook page posts all the time.
Yeah.
You have the most successful Facebook page with the most engagement out of everyone I know.
I don't fucking do anything, dude.
Like, people comment on your posts and like the posts all the time.
And I don't see it. It's always the weirdest fucking people, too. One person who... I'm going to fucking say this on the podcast. I don't even care, because I'm never going to hear it. But this person that I used to live with at an old commune fucked me over by like $500 and didn't pay me rent through a sublease. Ghosted me, told me to go fuck myself, liked my art page, and comments on my posts all the time.
Is this the person that...
I'll tell you later.
Stole the microwave? I mean...
Literally, no, that's the other one.
Oh, not the microwave thief.
No. This person just,
allegedly,
like, decided they didn't want to pay rent for the last month and told me to go fuck myself.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Which is, like...
Yeah, that's weird that they just like your art.
They're just wicked nice to me, and they're like, oh, you look beautiful in this picture. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, oh, fuck you. Give me my $500. Are we like super in the weeds talking about social media? Is this like a a weird topic? Okay.
We're weird people.
I have an adjacently related pivot if you want.
Hit it up.
Sure.
So, with the ads and everything, a big part of the process that's been different for us lately has been like doing music videos, which we didn't do the first few times. And those ended up pushing us more than anything.
Really?
I think Bullpup, like, inherently is just much more a live band than it is like a recorded band. Like, I like our recordings and everything, but I think being at a Bullpup show and listening to Bullpup are not the same thing.
Yeah.
And like one is very much the advertisement for the other. And making the music video outside the part that it fulfills for me, I feel like I am fully realizing the concept when we do music videos. Like, I think everything that I want to say with the statement of that piece is there because I have the visual, the audio, the lyrical content. It's all there.
Yeah.
And that's the only time stuff feels finished is when we, like, do the videos. But the beauty in that is it's more engaging. It holds people's attention more because there's, like, if you do it well, at least, people will, like, watch the full thing. And they might not listen to a full song if they don't already know you. If they see something that's visually interesting and listen to the song, they're more likely to, like, hook on to the song and be invested in you.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that you can then take shots from the video and make an ad that you can then put onto other platforms. And for not that much, if you really want to just run like an Instagram ad thing for a week, you can gain a ton of a following and get people legitimately invested in you. Like, they do stick around if they liked that ad enough and that was engaging enough content. If they took the time to click on your profile, they're there.
Yeah. Are you guys, I don't know, don't answer this if it's going to blow up any of your, like, plan, but are you guys doing videos for all of the singles that you're putting out?
We're trying to, but no promises.
Right.
That's crazy. That's a lot of labor.
It is, and that's why it's a maybe, just because we don't skimp out on production value there either.
Yeah.
And, like, if look at something particularly like Veronica or the video that's coming out next week with the MC, those are, like, week-long shoots spread out over a couple of different locations and areas, and we work with Dan Bazarian, who is an insane filmographer and director. You guys should definitely have him on the show. He would be super cool to talk to. You guys should absolutely talk to Dan.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Because he does, like, art films and stuff on his own, too, that he works on. But, like, Dan takes his time to do things well and, like, does that and getting people that aren't just the band and wrangling all the cats of, like, okay, other people are going to be in the video, so what do we do with that? And making sure costuming is consistent and making sure continuity errors and all that. It is a fuck ton of labor, so I have a video for all the songs that would be coming out with the Grey Cabaret project. Will they all be made? Jury's out. Some of them are more ambitious than others. Would I like to? Absolutely. That is another one of those, like, concession of mental well-being and physical health to, like, actually walking away from something when you need to, kind of thing.
Well, that's exciting. That's really cool, though. Especially that they're all written at the very least, because you could always go back and do them later on,
Right.
Hey, I had a random thought. So I noticed you said that music videos really rope people in and, like, really build that relationship with the art and the music and stuff with the fans and shit. It's something that has this might be like a me thing, but it's something that every single time I learn about a new artist or a band and I, like, really start to like them, the thing that like is always like the Rubicon, like that I officially, like, I am now a super fan, like that ropes me in permanently, is when bands and artists have just acoustic videos. When they just have, like, acoustic sessions on YouTube and shit. Like, I get like pissed when I like a band and they don't do that. Like, I just, like, because I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I like fucking love that so much. Maybe it's just because I like acoustic music.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're not doing that. Maybe for a thing for Halloween that we're doing.
Really?
But
Ooh.
Interesting.
I think Chirp is trying. When it comes to October, if you're listening to this in October, you'll know if this came through or not.
You never know. Someone might be listening in October.
Yeah. A lot of bands that work with Chirp Records are trying to do, like, an acoustic comp type of thing, and they're supposed to be, like, a couple videos to go with it, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm also working on an acoustic Bullpup song, which is typically a huge no-no, but I am like making a concession for this one because it's very fitting to the concept we've got going on.
Do you not like acoustic songs for Bullpup?
No, because I think that it kind of spits in the face of the thematic consistency of Bullpup. Like, listening to a Bullpup song should feel like a theater production to some degree. Like, it should feel bigger. So having something be that stripped down makes it feel more like it's just a me project.
Right. I mean, I could totally see, like, some kind of, like, orchestral, like spotlight kind of situation.
Which we did with John, because John had 2 ballads already.
Oh, like Bobby Kent, or was it?
Yeah,
like that, right?
Yeah, RFK, and then on the last, on Be Evil, oh my god, why do I know my own songs? What the fuck is happening? Lake House. Lake House, which was like, that song started and we were like, okay, this is just going to be John the piano, and then we were like, oh, we can add some spatial stuff here, and then we kind of came up with last minute live tracking the ending with the full band, making it super heavy at the end. So maybe that kind of goes in place of the acoustic song, like, and from the point that I was making. Yeah.
So you guys literally already do that. What I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we do and we don't, though, because, like, they're different things, you know, it's not as exposed, but, like, I think we're going to do Aspartame for that acoustic session for Chirp. Like, I think that song, as I wrote it, is not what the final product was for Bullpup, which is, like, fine. I think it's a different thing, and I think it's a cool thing, but that song is, like, one of the most somber things I've ever written in my life, and it's like one of the most fun songs we've ever recorded.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, maybe we should take another crack at that through a different lens, and that'll be kind of what the acoustic one serves the purpose of. But making something that's acoustic from the gun, it needs to be a really, really specific thing in my mind to meet a standard that I'm probably the only person that cares about, but it will drive me nuts.
Facts.
That's that artistic integrity, though.
Yeah, I have a lot of integrity, actually. I'm not shameless at all.
My main qualities are integrity, loyalty, and artisticness.
I'm also very humble and caring. Those are my qualities.
I'm an empath, actually.
I'm an empath.
I started being an empath at 9 years old when I was listening to Ohio's for Lovers.
What the fuck?
That's when I learned about feelings.
I don't even think... I was talking to Theo about this the other day, but I don't think I even developed empathy until I was, like, a lot older.
23.
I did not have empathy throughout my childhood or teenage years. I don't think I was...
Or teenage years.
I think I was...
couldn't empathize with
I think
another human.
I intellectually understood it, but I don't think that I was successfully performing it.
One time, when I was like 7, I found this recently. I found a journal entry that I wrote where I was convinced that there was going to be a tsunami, and I was crying, writing in my journal because nobody would believe me because I was a kid, and that I was really worried about all the people that were going to lose their livelihoods and their homes in the tsunami on the Cape.
Because you're an empath.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brian was squishing ants between their fingers.
Basically, yeah.
How does it feel?
Yeah, exactly. How does it feel? I feel nothing. No thoughts, only death.
Only death.
That's what my internal monologue sounds like when I was a kid, too.
Oh my god.
Fire truck.
Fire truck. Skateboard.
Like the same low baritone register.
Exactly. Yeah, I grew into it.
That's not true. I was talking to Brian's mom the other day, and she told me the cutest story. Do you want to hear it?
You can't tell us the cute story about me that my mom told you.
Why not?
On the pod.
Fuck yeah. These are girlfriend privileges. I can do that.
Okay.
So, she told me that when Brian was a little kid, she told him that he needed to bag up all of his old toys that he wasn't using anymore to bring them to Goodwill. And he started crying and said that Bad Will deserved some toys too. And needed to give some toys to Bad Will.
That's the whole story.
You literally were like, what about punished children?
I was a
Like,
prison abolitionist.
You're like, I didn't have any empathy as a child.
I thought that bad will existed. I don't know why.
You're like, he
It's
deserves
probably
toys too. It's Christmas.
It's probably because this is probably such boring information, but when I was a kid, my parents, or my dad mostly, used to threaten me with going on the black bus, is what he called it. Literally, that's what my dad used to say all the time, that if we were bad, and me and my brother were terrified of the black bus, and that if we were bad or we misbehaved or something, that we would go on the black bus.
What was the black bus?
We didn't know. We were too small or brains to act, like, we didn't know. It was just, we're gonna go. And the craziest thing that ever happened, so I live...
He just didn't elaborate? There was no threat?
Well, it was, I don't know, but like, maybe he did. But, so I grew up right next to an auto shop. Also, this is going to be relevant in a second, but one day when I was a little kid, for some reason, somebody went to that auto shop literally with a black bus. And my dad took the opportunity and was like, there it is! And like made us look out the window at the black bus.
Oh my
And it was so scary.
You're like, I don't know why I used to listen to emo music when I was 9.
My dad was like, we're gonna put you on a bus! You're gonna die!
You're on the highway to hell, bro.
The highway to hell. Oh my god.
My image of the black bus was a bunch of little children that were skeletons that were in the back of the bus, like dead, riding.
Did you
That's
and your brother discuss this? Did he also picture skeletons?
I don't
in the
know.
black bus?
I'd have to ask him.
Like, how deep was the lore?
I don't know what he thought about it, but that's how I pictured the black bus. Was just skeleton children on a bus. That I would be a skeleton on the bus.
Oh my god.
Anyway, that may be a clue as to why I thought that the bad will existed, I suspect. I don't know.
And you wanted to send them your toys.
Yeah.
You talking about your...
One for the homies. What?
You talking about your dad reminded me of something that I have to low-key roast Theo for.
Oh, shit.
Little Theo, don't dox us on the podcast anymore. It stresses me out. All that jazz.
Uh-oh.
Right? So you have your big rule. You realize, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 podcast episodes ago, you point out a construction or, like, handyman truck that drives by that has the same last name as you, and you go, I wonder if he knows my dad, and then you proceed to say your dad's entire company name, and that is specifically your father.
Fuck!
I don't even remember
I remember that vividly.
Really?
Oh my god. You know what's terrible about that?
Like when you mention landmarks that you're like, that could triangulate the location of us, like, with just Google Maps.
I almost just said something that made that even funnier, but then I realized I was about to dox my home address in the podcast.
Don't do that. Don't, please. I'm lifting, like, this heavy-ass fucking pallet, and I'm, like, moving a bunch of, like, we just got a shipment of corn, and it's, like, these giant bushels of corn. It weighs so much. I'm, like, struggling under the weight of it, and I hear you drop that in my headphones, and I literally did, like, a laugh and dropped it on the ground. So I was just like, what the fuck are they doing? My guy.
Brian has had to censor me saying things to reference my home address like 3 times in the last like 2 months.
But you know what? Apparently some things just slip through the cracks, and even I don't catch it.
Dude, you just want to get God. I get it.
Fuck it. I don't know.
Honestly,
I'm here for the drama.
Something that I think would eventually haunt me, if I ever got like very notorious or known, is the fact that literally for years throwing house shows at my parents' house over the years, like all through high school and after, just posting like my home address on like everything. Like in videos, like in pictures, event pages, just like, come here. Like, because we used to do ask for the address, like ask somebody, but then we just completely abandoned that. And we were like, fuck that. Don't ask. Just show up.
Were your parents okay with that?
I don't fucking know.
Did they know that was your branding?
Well, it eventually stopped, partly because my parents were like, this is ruining our lives. This is horrible. Because we just constantly had night. It was always fun, but we would, just like the 5 to 10% of people there that were just literal nightmare people would make it not fun.
The people hooking up in your basement the first time I ever went there, and it being like my first local show experience.
Right. Yep, like that being an example of that, or like one time somebody just literally, like, I don't mean figuratively, like destroyed the toilet. Like I think somebody literally physically broke the toilet somehow, and like it fucking flooded out of the. It was literally so horrible.
Oh my god!
I thought my dad was gonna just actually shoot me because of that, and I never even found out who did it.
What the fuck?
I literally never. I have a suspicion from back then who I think it was, but nobody ever like.
Who do you think it was?
I can't say that.
Why not?
Because they're relevant to our lives.
Really?
Even to this day.
Ah.
Oh, your alarm.
Shit.
Anyway.
Someone smashed your toilet and you're still...
No. Not... It was more complex.
Firecracker in it.
Right, yeah. They put a stink bomb in it. Anyway, but like, yeah, so... Yeah, anyway.
It was me.
It was you from back in the day.
It's gonna be like 7 years down the line, and you're gonna get a phone call from your parents, and you're gonna pick it up, and it's gonna be a voice you don't recognize. And you're gonna be like, "We got the address from the Barn Show Facebook page, Brian. It's us. We're the black bus."
I'm gonna just get pulled onto a converted school bus that some like asshole lives in. Like, and they're from like Vermont. They're just gonna like kill me.
They're gonna make you try their homemade kombucha. And
Yeah, some like asshole with like one dreadlock with beads on it.
They're not murderers, they're just schoolies.
Wow.
They make you hula hoop for like 8 hours.
Yeah, that would be terrible. You know, fun fact about me, I just straight up can't even do one hula hoop.
Why?
I can't even do one rotation. Like,
you can't hula hoop?
I straight up can't hula hoop.
You can like skateboard though.
Can't hula hoop.
You can't hula hoop?
I've tried.
You can dance a little bit. There's no reason you should be able to hula hoop.
Yeah.
I'm inept.
What's wrong with you?
It's just a skill I
Do you have
wasn't born
cement
with.
hips?
Maybe.
I am really good at hula hooping, and I used to be able to do the hula hoop jump rope thing when I was a kid. But then I got too tall, and I started whacking myself in the head.
You needed a bigger jump rope, probably.
No, a hula hoop. You can jump rope with the hula hoop.
Oh, I thought it was a double thing, like you were...
I don't know if I can still do it, but I used to be able to get it from my hips up to my hand over my head and then back down.
That's pretty sick.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I think that was a product of me being like very small, as we have already talked upon, but it was pretty tight at the time. I did it and I was like, "Isn't this cool?" And everyone went, "No."
They're like very low quality.
Guys,
low quality
we should
skill.
get hula hoops to close out the summer. We can have a hula hoop party.
Yeah.
We get the ones that light up.
Oh, yeah, and get like skip-its and just break all of our ankles.
Oh my god, yeah. Or just like...
Yo, Brian, what's up with the tailbone? How we feeling?
Still bad.
It's still bad. I have the pillow now that
God.
helps when I drive, even though I don't have it in this very moment.
Why don't you have the butt pillow?
I just forgot it. But yeah, it honestly is a lot better because Theo's theory that I was just re-aggravating the bruise every time I sat down, I think was completely true.
Yeah.
So it's still not healing.
Even my wife, you being like, "What do I do about this?" and then saying, "No, I didn't get the pillow after." And that was like the one moment I was like, "Brian, please."
That was so funny. You know what's even funnier about that post is that you're the only person that even responded to it. Nobody even everyone was like, "Wow, that sucks."
I responded to it.
Yeah,
I shipped you a butt pillow the same day. I saw that. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Cred to
Why are
Theo.
you asking for help?
Thank you for buying me the pillow.
You needed the butt
I think I was
pillow.
a little mean about it too. I think I literally was like, "Fucking pillow."
Yeah.
Such an easy solution.
It's helped a lot because, I don't know. It's complicated because it's still very painful, but literally it has, like, weirdly enough, this injury, even in the beginning, has not impeded my movements at all.
That's
like,
weird.
I've been able to, like, run, jump, like, do anything, just no sitting.
It'll catch you way later. Like, you'll be fine now, but in, like, a decade, that's when you're gonna be like,
Oh,
yeah.
that's, like, my worst nightmare. I fucking hope not. Holy shit. I'm terrified of eternal injuries. And I'm a dumbass that skateboards.
Skateboarding's fine. Just, when you literally turn your tailbone into dust, maybe get the butt pillow.
Yeah. Do something about
Yeah,
it
that's
when you
true.
have the injury.
That is, like, I've definitely had worse falls than that, in my life, but that is the worst skateboarding bail ever that I've done as an adult.
It sucks so bad you don't even have a video of it either.
I know. When I was a kid, I scraped my face on the pavement I would just almost die all the time. But that was absolutely that was too much.
Has anybody seen the 6-second clip of Brian skateboarding with a Taco Bell cup from 2008 on YouTube?
That's so funny. I should put that on Instagram.
That's my favorite fucking thing.
I have some very, very hidden, deep lore skate edits from when I was a child on
They're
YouTube.
not that hidden. If you search Brian Huntress on YouTube, you get
Well,
all of
it's
them.
bogged down by videos that I have posted.
Oh, that's true.
So
This particular one is literally 6 seconds long, and it's a couple clips edited together really fast, where it's Brian with a little tiny buzz cut, and you're probably 12 or 13, holding a Taco Bell cup with Sprite in it, and you're looking at your elbow that is gushing blood, and you look at the camera and you're like, ugh, and then you jump off of something on a skateboard and eat shit, immediately, and it ends. Just as you hit the pavement.
it's Vine. It's like a Vine style video.
That's so good.
Before Vine. I'll post it on Instagram.
The video I watch from you all the time, and I mean all the fucking time, is the guy who eats pennies.
That's a classic. I should re-upload that.
I love that video more than anything.
He just goes back and watches it.
You have your facts, I have mine. Every time I'm like, yeah.
I should make more shit like that. That was so fun to make. I literally filmed that in like an hour or two.
Those are the best kinds of videos.
Yeah, that
Dude, you know what it was the year anniversary of the other day?
Oh,
the Dollhouse video.
That was awesome.
Also iconic video.
You mind if I take my shirt off real quick?
You mind if I just take my shirt off?
Are there any other things that you like to listen to in your free time on Spotify, Apple Music, and Spreaker? I'm a Wiccan.
You should just play that audio during the podcast. Completely uselessly, run an ad, be like, oh yeah, now it worked from our sponsor. It's just an ad for the show you're listening to already.
We're our own sponsor.
That's not a bad idea.
We should sponsor that post on Instagram.
We could try.
I changed my mind. I'm back into giving Facebook money.
Yeah, they need
They
need money for that VR program.
It's Meta now. It's not Facebook.
Yeah, we personally funded the metaverse with our frivolous, idiotic ad spending.
I deserve land in the metaverse.
Holy shit. Fuck, yeah, so the fucking single comes out in 1 hour.
In an hour.
Are you excited?
Jesus.
To be honest, I have been so in fight camp mode that the day just kind of snuck up on me, and someone literally messaged me this morning and was like, oh my god, the song's coming out tonight. I was like, oh yeah, it is.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm really excited for is the video, because I haven't seen the final cut yet.
Huh.
So that's where I'm like, ooh, but that's another week away.
Yeah, that'll be big.
But yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hashtag Bullpup. Hashtag Queers to the Front. Hashtag, I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
Hashtag something.
Yeah.
Yo, but fucking, we gotta fucking probably go to bed now because we got some other stupid shit to do tomorrow. But fucking, thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Yeah.
Of course, know I love you dearly, my friends.
We love you
Absolutely.
too.
We won't hang up on you, but I guess we'll just wrap up this episode real quick.
I got you.
But yeah, fucking, I don't know, like, where should the people go listen?
We're on all streaming services, and you can use any of our sounds on TikTok or Instagram Reels, and that helps us a ton too. You can follow us on everything at Bullpup Band, and anything that you see a bunch of gay-looking folk, that's us. And if there's blood and glitter, that's probably us. But other than that, feel free to just find me outside of a show and just literally beat me up. No one ever takes me up on it, but I'm still holding out hope.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for being such a good friend to the show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I'm going to hit stop now. Woo!
Boston Art Podcast is an independent DIY production by Brian Huntress and Theodora Earthworms. The information contained in this episode represents the views and opinions of the original creators or our guests, and does not represent any institution, organization, or business. Find us on Instagram at Boston Art Podcast, and tune in for a new episode every Friday. Thank you for listening.